Newman, coming off of a Jamboree victory, will entertain University Lab this coming Friday night at 7 p.m. at Lupin Field. Please give a warm quarterback club welcome to Coach Nelson Stewart of Newman High School.
First off, I want to thank Kenny. Enjoy every time he asks me to come down here, and quite honestly, no single person in the metro area does more, I think, for prep football and high school sports than Ken Trahan. From his website to the quarterback club, everything he does, I know that myself and a number of other, really every high school coach I'm close with deeply appreciates that. I'd also like to thank the quarterback club for allowing me to be here. I think this is just a wonderful tradition, as was alluded to, and I hope it's one that goes on for a very long time. Every time I'm asked to speak, I always lead off saying that I'm very blessed and fortunate to be directing a ship, the ship that is Newman football, but there wouldn't be one if it wasn't for the work of Tony Reginelli, who was my mentor and essentially built the program into what it is, and he's still doing great. He's out there every Friday night, and again, he's like a second dad to me, and I just always want to thank him. We also have a tremendous support system in the back. Our athletic director, Billy Fitzgerald, gives us everything we need, not just at a varsity level, but at middle school, giving us coaches support, and really is essentially everything we need to compete on Friday night. And also our headmaster, TJ Locke, who's not just behind football, but athletics as well. And again, just a well-rounded Newman administration that helps us out. Talk a little bit about us and what we have this year. We had an awful lot of losses from our senior class following last season. Without question, our top player last year is now over with Coach Baggs at LSU, Odell Beckham. Gave us essentially the second best receiving season in the history of our school behind Cooper Manning. I know he's still excited. He holds that record. But Odell had over 1,000 yards receiving, led us in interceptions, was the state offensive MVP, and looks like he may also be starting on the outside against Oregon, which obviously is no small feat. But along with Odell, Ryan Brenner, our quarterback, and 3 of our offensive linemen, essentially gave us only 3 returning starters on offense. We're very young, but the kids we have back we feel good about. Going into this season, we kind of followed the path that we always do, focusing our summer work on 7-on-7 to develop our no huddle. We did find some success, even though we have 4 new wide receivers and a new quarterback. We were able to make it to the finals of both the New Orleans Saints and LSU 7-on-7s, which were both actually really talented field this year, the hardest ones we've gone into, so we felt strongly about that. But I think that the biggest surprise going into this year for us, when you hear about Newman going through the Mannings and everything we've done, you always think about us throwing the football. We're looking to be a run-first football team this year. We feel very confident in our offensive line as well as our running back, James White. The other night, James, who's only 5'9", 175 pounds, but at Cornell's camp was clocked at a legitimate 4.40, very strong for his size. He had 5 carries for 165 yards. He ran for, at our estimates, 200 yards against East Jefferson, a very good defense in the scrimmage. And we think that with him as our returning starter, if we can build the run game, that's going to help us tremendously. He runs behind Alex Paul. I'm really pleased that I can sit next to Coach Toledo and say one of our players is actually going to Tulane, and believe it or not, he's the first Division I offensive lineman that is signed. When I went to Tulane, I actually had a walk-on position in 30 years, so it's not often that Newman gets Division I offensive linemen that sign out and do what they did. I think he signed with Tulane, and they do have a gem. He's 6'6", he's 310 pounds. In terms of what he can do in the weight room, he can bench 360 pounds, squat 500 pounds, but he's very, very light on his feet. He's been extremely dominant the first 2 games of the year. We've run behind him consistently along with his line mate Philip Stevens, and I think he's not just going to have success this year at Newman, but on the next level. I credit Coach Toledo and their offensive line coach Mark Hudson for identifying him early in their camp. They gave him an offer, and it was one he felt great about. He jumped on. And obviously, I look forward to watching him blossom. Again, with 4 new wide receivers on the outside, it's kind of a revolving doors, but we think that Gilly Andrew, especially, and Philip LaPere, who are both outside, very tall, rangy, speedy wide receivers, are going to do well for us. And we feel very good about our defense. We always build up front. Our defensive line is anchored at defensive end by Saunders Alpaugh and Michael Levine, both guys seniors. They're all seniors up front. Jonathan Drennan, and our top returning tackler is Daniel Martinez, our middle linebacker, who's done well. All the work in 7-on-7 also has allowed us to play more man coverage, something we haven't done very often under Ken Last. We have two very good quarterbacks, we think, with Ian Athman and Braden Weaver. They're going to be tested this week, and we think that they'll come through for us. Again, we've got a tremendous staff. This is my 6 years head coach, and I'm fortunate to work with both guys that played under me and guys that I played under. It's a great balance, and again, we couldn't do any of the things we do without them. And just some final things about our district. When it comes to 2A, everybody's going to, open everything with John Curtis. They've won. There's a reason they've been in the Superdome every year. They've been in AA. They're not going anywhere, and they're not changing what they do. They were young last year. They're going to be great on defense. I think that's the most underrated thing that they do. And also, they're going to run the football. Goes without question. And watching the guys they have coming up, I expect their defensive line to be excellent. I know two of their kids are already SEC commitments. Their special teams play, obviously, we'll go through. But I think that the interesting thing about our district is we've lost one of my good friends, but I told him this morning on the phone I'm not going to miss him very much, that Frank Monica's going to AAA, and I won't have to listen to him tell me that they're not going to be very good anymore when they go undefeated except for Curtis and go to semifinals. So he can let the guys in AAA know that, and no question he's going to find success. Riverside Academy, Mickey Roussel, one of my mentors and a guy that, again, year in, year out, does a great job, is going to focus around the running game. Without question, they'll be a top 10 team in AA while they lose their All-State quarterback, Darnell Rochelle. They got a great running back. They have a real innovative defensive coordinator in Patrick Hemel, and they'll be in every game. I think they'll be very aggressive hit, and they have a lot of tradition there. South Plaquemine, I think Chad Laborde, their new coach, is very disciplined, very regimented. Their best football's in front of them. They may not have a lot of kids, but there's a reason they've been to the Superdome as many times as they have. And I think that, in fact, I know they're going to be real competitive in AA and make a run. And I think one that goes unnoticed is Carver. Watching them in our Jamboree, they took it to Pope John Paul for a reason. They're very athletic, very big. They have a lot of tradition, and I think they're going to give people a lot of problems in Class 2A. Statewide, I would say Evangel and Calvary Baptist, again, as long as the state is putting 2A players where 2A guys are going to be, you're going to see those guys making a run deep. Evangel has a lot of those guys coming back, throwing with them this summer. They're going to have an amazing passing game, but again, their defense is rock solid. Calvary Baptist with Coach Bachman, I think he's going to, again, allow them to make a run. I think they could even go a little further now, maybe into the semis, not just regionals, quarterfinals. And then Redemptorist coming from Class 3A solidifies what I think is probably one of, if not the strongest divisions in the state of Louisiana. And we're very excited at Newman about what's in front of us. We've got, again, a lot of good young athletes. The question we get most about actually is not our seniors, it's our freshmen. We've got a really good group of them. Herb Tyler's son, Jay Tyler, is going to see some action for us this year at quarterback. Thing we're most excited about Jay is not just his athleticism and his arm, but he's a 3.7, 3.8 student. He's actually president of the math club. He's really picked up our offense well. We look for him to share snaps with Eli Sturbko, who's done a great job for us through our JV system. He'll be one of the first freshmen to play at the quarterback position, but we feel he's ready to take on that challenge. And we also have some other young men, Kendall Bussey, who's a nationally renowned young man in track again. Great student athlete, does well in the classroom, and among others. We're very excited about the future of our program. We think that we could have a solid year in front of us. We're going to have to build each week on the running game as well as our defense. But again, I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for the work of our assistants and our tremendous administration. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir. Odell Beckham, he is, yeah. Speaking with him and following kind of what's going on with Shepard out, it looks like he's going to step into that position. He's done fairly well at camp. I think he feels like he's got a full grasp of the passing game. You know, Coach Gonzalez has done real well with him in terms of, you know, implementing the things that he needs to. And yeah, we expect he's going to start outside against Oregon. I think he's up to the task as well. And as well, yeah, Ronnie Vincent also, from our MVP from 2 years ago, also as a Tiger. Right now, I think he's second nickel, but obviously that secondary is so stacked with talent. As he said to me, he said, "Coach, I'm just going to keep working because there's so much talent around me. I'm not down on myself. I'm just trying to grind through and get there." But he's doing really well, and we're awful proud of him. Anything else? Well, again, it really is an honor to be in front of you guys and also to speak with these amazing coaches. And again, I wish both LSU and Tulane the best of luck this season. Thanks, Kenny Trahan, and thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much.